So, good evening guys, and welcome to Thursday evening's OTL realistic performance. It is the last sprint format of the week, as we have nothing on for P0 this Sunday, of course, as we race. There's an actual Grand Prix on in Miami, so we'll be off for that. But it is the turn of realistic and Monza, and the one-shot 25 to 50% race. So, points aplenty on offer this evening. Let's get yet a little rundown of the grid. As we know, it's always good to see what drivers are where. So we have Ryan, Sam and SPW both in the Haas this evening. Then Skarma and Mick both in the Williams. Rage and Jay both in Alfa Romeo. Chubby and F. Lewis both in the Astons. Nick and Ranger in the Alpines. Bossman and Mitsima in the Alfa Tauris. Dixie and Fingers in the Ferraris, Clarkey and Pedro in the McLarens, Nico and Mikey in the Mercedes, and Danny and Volks in the Red Bulls. In terms of the championship, Mikey has at the moment an 18-point advantage at the top. He's in first position after his maiden win of the season last time out. He leads ENTHJ by 18 points, Mikey on 278, Jay on 260. And then we have Ryan Sam only 12 points behind Jay on 248, so 30 points split in the top three. Then 15 points behind Ryan Sam was our championship leader at one point. F. Lewis, he's fell down to P4, 233, but a track he goes better at, so hopefully get his championship back on track from tonight. Chubby Slug in P5 and 220. Then we've got SPW, made some good gains in the second half of the season. He's up to P6 and 217 and can definitely strike top 3 in the championship if he keeps his head down for the rest of the season. We've got Ranger in P7 and 198. He's not a miles away from SPW. Then we have Rage and Dixie all tied up for P8, both on 187. Then we have Nick in P10, he's on 180. And then Pedro P11 and 146, Clarkey P12 and 135, Volksbob P13 and 107, Danny Boy P14 on 106, Mitzimat P15 on 105, Fingers P16 on 100, then we got Nico Rosberg in P17 on 90, Bossman P18 on 89, Skarma P19 and 88, of course Skarma joined later in the seasons, as did Mick, he's in 71 and P20, and then Helmaid, I don't think Helmaid's full time, I think he's just a reserve. So Helmaid leading the way in that reserves championship, if you want to call it that. I think it is just himself, Charlie and Mitch. Rob Wills is shown as 0 on the board, but he should be in the championship now. Or maybe Rob's still reserve actually. So I'll take that back. There's my Google trying to speak with me. I do not want to be doing that. So let's get to the stream and see where it is. Remember, of course, one shot qualifying, 13 lap race. Then we'll come back in. The 13 lap race will form the grid for the 50%. Then we'll go straight back out. So 13 laps, then 27 laps. So let's see what the chat's saying this evening. Once it loads, because it's taking an age. Mikey, Parrot, Nick, father of 100 people, including a 200. It feels like that, Nick, at times in that cell. No, I have not, Adam. Good evening, Mick. I hope you're all well, gentlemen. Father of 100 people. That kind of scared me a bit, Nick. Oh no, Steven set it up. He did. I knew he would as well. I knew he was going to do it. Thank you very much, Nick. I am doing splendid. I won a race this week, so I've got to be happy, right? And then Rage took me out last night, so I've got even more a reason to be ecstatic. Save me the pain of Monza. It's all just a mess. I used to get on really well with this track, and I just really don't enjoy it now. So rather use the me. And of course those guys in the low performance cars, they have a bit of a job in their hands. No use of a cheeky toe in qualifying either, because of course it's one shot. So they're probably going to be trying to capitalise on mistakes for other drivers in the race, or just keep themselves in the DRS range, and maybe opportunity will arise if they get Slightly poorer exit, they can maybe get the run. Hello, Hello, Chris, Mr. Parrot, and Mick. Oh, Stephen's been so friendly in the chat. Stephen, are you in the lobby? Are you racing? Yeah, surely you're racing this evening. Oh, you were the first man and you're top of the list. So 19 drivers strong. Should have a full grid this evening. Good evening, Scarlet. I hope you are well. My YouTube is absolutely broken because it's saying there's my phone's saying there's 400 people watching, but I don't think that's legit somehow. And if it is, well, hi everybody, and everybody please sub to the channel. Love you. Ah, and I've got a jaggy bit in my trousers, and it's going to really annoy me for the duration of the evening if I don't fix it. So, who do I predict to go very well tonight? Our championship leader, Mikey, he's in the Mercedes. But I don't think he'll have an easy time of it. I think Clarkey will be able to hassle him a lot in the McLaren. Clarkey goes very well at Italy. It's a track that he seems very stable at as well. So, Clarkey's maybe not been in the best run of form. And I hate to maybe give him any cuss, but I really, really hope to see him do well this evening. Because he had a good race the other night. He needs a good one under his belt. If any of the guys in the bottom 3 cars can get that, drag their sorry butts up anywhere close to the top 6, I would be very impressed. Mikey is buying this championship. Yeah, the way it swapped out there, he's ending up in quite a good car at quite a good time. But that's because drivers retire, and then they end up retaining a car. I think there was like 6 drivers that retired, so Mikey should have been much further away. But because guys were filling their cars, he ends up in the better performing vehicle. So that's what hurts it. If everybody was finishing, then that wouldn't be the case. It is a full grid. We are absolutely packed. Realistic's usually always full. I think the boys all enjoy it. Good evening, Ranger. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're very well. Here supporting Mr. F. Lewis. Oh, wait. What am I talking about, Ranger? You race? That's so bad, mate. I'm sorry. I am sorry. You're here to win. Oh, Ranger, that's terrible. You gave us some good action this season as well and been right up there. I'm sorry, mate. Excuse the cough, chat. But don't give me any sympathy. I'm on the recovery now, so all is well. So, did we just pick one driver for qualify? I'll try and go between a couple. We'll try and get a couple of them in. F. Lewis, Nico Rosberg, Clark and Pedro still waiting to take that tyre choice. That's why it still shows the little wheel spinning away. Now, just Clark, Kate, Nico and F. Lewis. It'll be a minute for them all. Wait, did Pedro lag out the session? No. I do not see Pedro. So Pedro's got back in, but I don't know if that's going to put him to the back of the grid now. He may have to start the sprint format from the back, which would be quite disappointing because he's in the McLaren, so he would probably feel he'd be further up the grid. Hopefully the guys all wait. And they don't ready up, nobody sets the time up, and they all load a setup. You do not want it to run Monza. Oh, Jay's got some paid drivers in the fold. And somebody did ready up very quickly, so we're going to get straight to qualifying. Pedro, is he in the car? Well, I think he has managed to get in the car, so there's a good sign. So we'll go on board with our championship leader, Mikey, as he barrels down to the first chicane in turn 1, braking just at that 100 metre boards, pick it up, tuck it up nicely to apex 1, staying away for the curbs now. You certainly do not want to get near them, and then gets a nice exit there, off the first corner, and I don't know if Pedro's a little bit bugged here. Is this Pedro in? Oh no, it's not. It's just AI for Pedro. And I tell you, his AI is right there with Mikey at the moment, hassling him very, very hard. So Mikey is leading the way. I've not even got any track data up either, how dare I. And Clark has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location, so I don't understand that. Maybe he wasn't there to get going. A few drivers, I think, not even close to getting going. We're going Bobby Volkswagen, P's down in P15, coming towards a scary chicane. Enters nicely there, and F. Lewis got himself up to P3 at the moment. So F. Lewis doing bits, Dixie in P5 in his medium compound tyre, as well as a few drivers seem to have had a moment at the Ascari chicane. Ranger now improving further ahead, he goes away up to P6, Dixie loses out a bit in the last corner. You see the soft tyres start to show their benefit in the corners there. Jay now P6, Mikey sets the pole time, no 27.5, and the full grid fires in there behind. So it's a Mercedes 1-2 at Monza for the sprint format, but somebody readied up very, very quickly, and I would be intrigued to know who that was, because they may have cost drivers some time with setup there. So medium tyres coming through, and the medium tyre, I know, is a good tyre to start the race on. You can box your lap 4, lap 5 very, very comfortably and still take the medium tyre to the end of the race. The soft. So if you start in the medium, you want to be in the softs for more laps here. It's just more beneficial. So, food for thought for all the drivers. So let's just see, we'll go to race director, we'll see. I think Pedro should be on the grid. He is, so he should be able to take control of his car. Clark has left the session from the back. So formation lap, of course, as always. And hopefully now, everybody's got their setups on the car. Of course, locked into that strategy, the top 10 for what they started on. So 13 lap race is very simple. It's always going to be that one stop. So let's see if everybody's getting in here, and everybody is getting off the grid. So let's get some of this telemetry back up. Let's look at the outside the top 10. So Ryan, Sam, Pedro's on his soft compound tyre, that's interesting. I know for a fact though you're better to be on the Clarky forgot it was the sprint. Gutted man. So Mikey getting away up the road to Nico Rosberg. Building a little bit of a gap, but Mikey will probably let that close up. And of course the drivers all need to be very, very careful for that turn 1 braking. So we get Pritt and Mr. Rage and SPW make a little bit of contact coming through Parabolica, or the last corner. Oh. Oh, Nick. It's unfortunate, but I caught your shenanigans. And that was shenanigans. You naughty, naughty boy. So we get lined up. And then we wait for the bad boy Nick. Scrolling into his grid slot at the back. Yeah, he's just looking for some temps. He's a P20. He doesn't care. And we should get some lights for our sprint race at Monza. Let's go to position changed actually. For the start, as we go to Mikey and we get 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out and away we go for the Monza sprint. It's an even start for our front row, and F. Lewis here on his soft compound tyre will go to the inside line. It's him, Matty and ENTXJ go 3 wide down into turn 1. There's a bad contact further behind as well as Pedro tries to make his way through in the McLaren. He's going to have to scamper over the hairpin there as somebody else is pushed wide. That looked like an Alpine having to cut over turn 2 as well. It's now the Ferrari and Alfa Romeo getting a drag race round turn 3, coming towards the second chicane for the first time, and further down the order it seems pretty reasonable for everybody. Here goes Dixie and Ryan, so I'm going side by side. Dixie's just going to jump the chicane, somebody getting a bit of damage further ahead. Now Dixie looks to the inside of Pedro, but nothing will come this time around. He'll have to sit in behind for this lap here, but somebody ahead's got damage and there's a VSC out, so they will have to settle down now, and that will just allow the pack to settle back into a queue. People will do their best to sort out the positions here, and we should get a batch of racing again. So I think Rage is to go through on Mick, or maybe it's just some Delta there. Oh, and I think Rage actually overtook Mick there and got Mick a penalty, and that's going to be detrimental to his racers. I don't know how Mick may want to report that one, because if Mick was at his Delta, with Mick red and then Rage overtook him, that's a tough one. So does the anybody box here, any of the medium guys? It's not the time to get off the tyre. It's still some VSC, but these guys look like they're racing absolutely flat out now, so I think we're back to green flag. Yes, we are. As Nico Rosberg is still in the back of Mikey at the moment, as Danny Boy gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding the pits. Mr. Rage, Danny, Mitsima all into the pits. Did they pick up some damage here? And Rage did, and it doesn't even look like he's missing an end plate, does Mr. Rage, so he'll be devastated he's picked up that penalty. As Clark, you say hi, he's doing bits. ENTXJ, he's writing about it, and our 3 championship protagonists, JF Lewis and Mikey, they're all up there. Nico Rosberg putting a nice buffer between Mikey and F. Lewis, and there's a yellow flag further back here at turn 1. What's happened there? And Pedro's had another moment there. Has he made contact with somebody? And what's happened to Dixie there? Dixie getting through as well. Did Dixie have to take a pit stop? He seems to have fallen down the order a bit. Has Adam? Maybe not, maybe it's all just soft tyres ahead. Nico Rosberg now sets the fastest lap of the race, so he's staying well in touch. And look at Matty now in ENTXJ, and Jay got some good old straight line speed on that Alfa Romeo. He's holding the Ferrari at bay here as they head down into turn 1. Matty will try and roll it round the long way at turn 1, but that's never going to pay off there. And Rob Wills in SPW and P9 in the Haas. Has he gained from the start of the race? He's up a position. SPW doing bits, and he's dog of a car, as is Ryan Sam up there as well. He's up there in P7. He's been tailed closely by Ranger. But here comes Matty on ENTXJ. Will he go for a move into a scary chicane? He's going to wait behind just now. and Mikey now started to push away, and look how little energy Mikey's had to use. He's got lots of pace in hand as Nico Rosberg pushes hard to try and get back on to that there as Mitsumat seems to be having a moment there. I don't know if that was between Mitsumat and Nick. And Mitsumat got some very, very hot tyres. As Mikey now sets the fastest lap of the race pretty comfortably in a 22.5. But look at this, Ranger and Ryan Sam. Here comes Archie, he'll go to the inside line, and look at the speed difference there. The Haas just not got the straight line speed in the car. So these guys on the medium tyre, I'll be looking to ditch these any lap now. Just go for broke. Get some track position and see if you can get yourself swung back into a fight. Matty and ENTXJ now going at it again, but Jay's car positioning at the moment has been very, very good. And we have a yellow flag. Who's that? Oh, it's Dixie. Is that Dixie at the moment? Yes, it is. I think he's hit the curb at the chicane. Has he got any damage? He doesn't at the moment. Sorry, Barrett. Yeah, that's a good one. So Rob waiting for the DRS, he'll come in parabolic at, and I think Ryan Sam is doing his best, but the poor old Haas has just not got the straight line speed in the car. And we're going to see Rob Wills go through here as Chubby Slug now gets off the medium compound tyre. He'll go to the soft. Can SPW make any gains on Ryan Sam here? Oh, and Dixie gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's having a bit of a nightmare at the moment here. I don't think he was looking forward to tonight too much. Ryan Sam D-rating ahead of SPW. The two Haas boys, P6 and 7 at the moment. They're having a great stint. Of course, some drivers behind all took a pit stop, so the grid will filter back in the next couple of laps. And here comes SPW, goes through and Ryan Sam up to a Scarish chicane. You don't usually see the overtake done there, but maybe SPW and Ryan Sam looking to work together here. SPW want to try and pull his teammate along in his medium compound tyre, give him a bit of DRS while he's got some pace. SPW is using energy, so he's trying to pull him along. I think he's trying to get himself and Ryan Sam up the road a bit. Or maybe he's just pushing because he wants to break that DRS, because he knows he's not going to have any. And Ryan Sam continuing on, and Rob Wills now gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Guys really struggling to get the car slowed down in time to avoid that early penalties. Nico Rosberg now pulls the trigger for a big undercut opportunity here on his teammate. So Nico Rosberg out in P7, he's got a bit of clean air ahead. Volkswagen, I think he'll be 3 seconds up the road by time. Oh, Nico gets out that turn one. You do not want to take that curb like that too many times. And just like that, Nico's already through in Volks, because Volks had a moment at turn 3 and you need to be careful in his braking here. Big skid marks there of somebody having a moment, I think, at turn 1. So F. Lewis, is he going to box? Try and pull a bit of a gain here, and he is coming in, and he stays well away from the penalty there, as does Matty. Well, we see SPW come into the pits this lap as well, or is he going to continue on? He is coming in, and Ryan Sam will continue on. So Ryan Sam going very deep in the medium compound. The softs can do way more distance at much higher pace already, so Ryan Sam maybe playing the long game here. Hoping for something to play into his favour. And we'll get a look now once Nico Rosberg goes through. Well, the gap is 26 seconds, yeah, 26.5 to the leader, I think. 26.6, so Mikey well clear of that undercut potential at the moment. What's happening with Jay? Oh, safety cars came out for what? Somebody has dropped it, Mitzi out. Oh, I wonder why everybody was going slow. I was really delayed to realise that the safety car has came out, so. Well then. The Ryan Sam strap plays off. So everybody well boxed now to the soft compound tyre. So through they all go, a few guys trundling into the pits. It's just now about where does the queue filter out. We'll get a few laps of racing here in the end. And guys choosing not to pit here, finding some cheap track position, getting themselves back into a bit of a fighting chance. Cleared some cars that would maybe be quite hard to get through. Oh, it's Adam touched a bit too much of the cup and nearly spits himself around in circles. So Ryan Sam, the man in the Haas, falls to P8. Some guys chose not to pit the guys on the medium compound tyre. Or maybe they had to go to the medium actually. Yeah, but he's got a new soft Parrot, so some gains to be made. And I think now somebody like Ranger or Rob could give themselves enough to on the tyre deficit to maybe mount a bit of a challenge to some of these guys in front. So Dixie's boxed, but I think that's for a penalty serve. Guys looking to get rid of that one. And who's that? Somebody, oh it's Clark, he's still at the race at the moment. Hey, you do it. You carry on, Mr. Parrot. You do your thing, man. Oh, Fear Nerd. Robin Van Persie. Have a big name to you. So, safety car coming in this lap. Mikey gets to take control of the pace. And we have 4 laps of racing ahead of ourselves. And somebody for the moment, Chubby Slug, he's dropped it. Wait, what has happened to Chubby Slug? And I think he's dropped it, trying to catch everybody back up. Matterman, if you're in the chat, please make us aware of exactly what's happened. And Mikey has scampered away. He's went very early on Parabolica, so we're back to full speed racing. We'll get a green flag just as Mikey clears the line. Gave the safety car plenty of time to go, so the green flag will now fall, and back to racing we go. Hopefully the game's going to start giving us some deltas as we cross the line, and we'll get a good idea and look at Nico Rosberg coming here on Ryan Salmon. And just the sheer straight line speed advantage, he's going to try and go down the inside into turn 1, and I think Nico Rosberg will get that position sealed up pretty quickly. He gets himself back up to P7. Rob Wills now up 11 position, and we'll get Ranger on that soft compound tyre. Look, he's right in this. So further back, what's happened there? Who's that? Skarmus at the moment. So now we've got Nick, G, Dixie, they're all in a bit of a queue. Pedro and SPW trying to go fighting here. Oh, and Pedro makes a bit of contact there with SPW, and now they're all going side by side through Ascari, and somehow they all get through. Pedro just missed his braking a little bit. They're trying to go the long way into Ascari, and now Pedro and Adam will go side by side up on the run to Parabolica. We'll get on board with the man in the McLaren. He'll tuck back in behind. And who's that? Nico Rosberg is here at the moment. He's away into the pits there. As Nick now goes through on J and SPW. Look at SPW trying to attack the Red Bull. He'll go for a big move on the inside, but Volkswagen, he's got in too deep. He's forced Volkswagen to go too deep, and SPW will get the position, as does Nick and J and other drivers behind here. And SPW played that very, very well. And now Pedro and Dixie will go side by side through turn 3. Yet again, more racing between these two. As we head up to turn 3, Pedro will be the car ahead. Is Adam going to try and go the long way? But Pedro very good on the brakes there and manages to hold Adam off. Further up though, we get Ranger, F. Lewis and Matty and Rob all in a bit of a battle here. And here comes Ranger. He's going to go through an F. Lewis on the superior compound tyre. Now these two guys know each other, so maybe F. Lewis is not going to fight this one too hard, allowing Ranger to go. Ranger, of course, having that penalty. If he can get that cleared, and that was a small weave, so that was a release there, and F. Lewis now just needs to hang on because he's got Matty and Rob Wills not that far behind him. Rob Wills eyeing a little bit of a podium here. Can he make the break? But Mikey absolutely clear out in front. DRS enabled, Mikey get the gap out to 3.2 seconds. So let's go back to this battle further up. This is probably the one to stay with now. The podium fight. And Ranger managed... Oh, is he going to stay there actually and give Lewis a bit of help? Or maybe he's just cleared. I think he just cleared the DRS there. So F. Lewis may come under pressure here, because he has no DRS. And here comes Matty, making the gains. He's all on the energy. He'll go to the inside line, and he is going to go for the move up to Ascari chicane. As they come into view, the Ferrari is nose ahead into the hit chicane, and through Matty goes there. But F. Lewis is not done with this. He gets to better run off the chicane. He'll now go back to the inside line, and of course on Matty's going to get out that, and Matty wanted the DRS. F. Lewis never quite seen it coming, but Matty now will need to be aware of Rob Wills, because he's right on his gearbox as well. But Matty now pushing on, and I think that braking manoeuvre there cost him, as we go into the last race. His biggest overtaking chance of the race maybe squandered there was Matty, because he just gave himself too much of a gap to really get the run in F. Lewis. And F. Lewis, I think, played that very, very smart there as Rob Wills on the very last lap of the race comes to the inside line of Matty on that superior tyre grip, and Rob Wills will now try and go through. It's Rob v Matty yet again in league racing, and Rob Wills clatters over the curb but manages to get himself through, and Matty falls down to 5th position. Mr. Rage and his Alfa Romeo as well, trying to get himself up and involved in this battle up front, but I think that's going to be that for that fight. Now F. Lewis and Rob Wills. I don't think Rob Wills will be able to close that gap as we've got Mikey entering a scary chicane for the last time in this sprint, and he is not even pushing, he is absolutely chilling. He is taking his time. He knows he's got the advantage in the car this evening, and he just needs to convert that home for some good points. So Mikey will enter Parabolica, but I'm going to watch further behind because this is important. It's here. We've got Rob Wills and F. Lewis. They're going to go side by side into the Parabolica on the very last lap. F. Lewis is going to try and keep it on the long way round, but Rob's got the much superior tyre grip, and now it's the drag to the line, but F. Lewis is going to try and come back to him, and he's not going to get it. Rob Wills will get P2, but it's all change. F. Lewis gets P2, Matty P3, Ranger 4, Ryan Sam 5, Mr. Rage P6, Nick 7, Rob Wills P8, Ian TXJ 9, Mick P10, SPW P11, Dixie P12, Clarkey P13, Pedro 14, Volks 15. Let me just give this to Mr. Adam. Excuse the cough and chat, I'll just get him the grid over. So good job there from Mikey. F. Lewis in P2, Matty in P3. A good little battle there in the closing phases. Ryan Sam just missed out, or just actually got back ahead of Rage right on the line there, 0.044, splitting them two, and then a 10th gap to Nick, so Nick was right in the frame as well. Good exciting little ending there. Well done to all the drivers, and of course stick around guys, because in just a few minutes time we'll go again for another 27 laps. I will be back in 1 minute. Oh, I'm back, chat. Sorry, I forgot to unmute. So, Clark, he never raced. So let me just say to Rage. Where did they put that? I seen something there. I don't know where they put it. That was weird. Oh, he did. So just get that one clarified, because I think that is... Hopefully, we have so the grid has just been tied up for everybody. Interesting. Yes. I am ready. I was born ready. So let's see. Rage, I will send you an image after the race that I think you will need to look at, so yeah. So formation lap ahead, the guys will obviously take a little minute to set their setups and of course their tyre choice strategy. Yeesh. Show a small delay. See if I can actually get this to rage. So formation nap coming up. So Mikey P1, F Lewis P2, Matty P3, Ranger P4, Ryan Sam P5, Clarky P6, Rage P7, Nick P8, Rob Wells P9, ENTXJ P10, Mick P11, SPW 12, Dixie P13, Pedro 14, Volks 15, Danny P16, Skarma P17, Nico Rosberg P18, Chubby Slug P19 and Mitsima in P20. 27 laps ahead of the guys, so a much longer distance. So they've got to keep their heads down now and maybe not take as much risk. It's looking a lot duller as well, so could that be a sign to things to come? Let's see what tyres have all went for. A nice mix, some soft, some medium. So we've got Mikey, Matty, Ranger, Jay, Volks, Skarma and Mitsima. They've all went for the soft compound tyre, and every other driver on the grid starts on the medium. Soft tyre is a tyre you would like to be on near the end of the race, but of course if there's weather coming in, is this why we see the slightly difference in tyres? Oh, and something happened there. SPW caused a bit of a mess, I think. There's got 5 drivers there. SPW, Dixie, Pedro, Volks, Danny, all getting DSQ'd for the formation lap. Luckily it was right at the end, but manual formation laps next year, it's going to be something that we will need to look at. So Mitsima files in as we watch. Let's see if I can get a better view of the lights. We can from there as we get 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. What is going on, game? Come on. And it's lights out and away we go. And Mikey gets the better start on the front row. F-Low is bogged down a little bit on that medium compound tyre. And now Ranger has managed to shoot through straight away. His 2 drivers also, Matty and Clarky. As Clarky comes steaming in on the inside line, cooks it too deep in the brakes, and round he goes, and he made big contact with another driver there. I don't know if they've picked up any damage. I think it was contact with Matty, so Matty will open. He's got away from that unscathed, but Ryan Sam in his arse somehow managed to get himself up to P5. Jay though looking to make a move on Mr. Rage as Mr. Rage closes that move off. Clarky now tries to wind his way back through, but he's going side by side. Him and Nick now going wheel to wheel as they head into the first Lesmo, and they're still side by side. Nick on that higher line and Clarky on the lower line, managing to find the superior grip at the moment. So further back, what's happening? Pedro and Nico Rosberg making gains. Dixie's lost out a couple. Let's go to position changed actually. We'll get a good idea of who's gained where. So Jay's managed to get up 4 positions. Rangers up a couple. Nico Rosberg gained 7. Pedro gained a couple. Dixie fell down 3. Danny Boy fell to the back of the grid also. But further up, we've got some wheel-to-wheel stuff here as Rob Wills and Mr. Rage go side by side into the Parabolga. And now they head down the main straight. As we see Ryan, Sam and Rob Wills now side by side, and they're going to try and split, and ENTXJ is going to block off one side of that move as Rob Wills still tries to go down the inside, but you see the soft tyre just giving Jay a bit more grip as they all back up now in the exit of that turn 2, and I think Clarkie's now going to get through. Mr. Race, but he's done! What's happened there? There's big contact, and Clarkie is out of the race, and the VSC is out, and I think Mr. Rage has got some damage. Did Mr. Rage get any bodywork damage there? So VSC still out, not quite back to green flag racing yet, although it looks to me in like my screen like we might be, or not DRS enabled, so we are now back to green flag racing. And Ranger, what penalty did he get? 6, so he's already got 2 3-second time penalties, so that could be detrimental to his race. So F. Lewis going to start being put under pressure from Rob Wills. He has no DRS, Rob Wills of course does. There's Mick and Volks now doing a bit of racing. I think Volks got through there. And now Dixie and Chubby Slug. As Ranger now sets the fastest lap of the race, a 24.5. And Jay into the pits. Very early for Jay. Has he picked up some damage? Yes, he has. So Jay unfortunately got some damage on the car. That's the need for the early pit stop. Matterman now setting the fastest lap of the race in a 24.2, so the pace of the race is starting to go up and up as we have Rob Wills all over the back of F. Lewis. Are we going to see any overtakes up into a scary chicane on the feature race? I am not so sure. I think the guys will just wait to do that on the main straight. Here comes Pedro now and Nick. That's where Pedro goes, he's on the energy. And he is going to help Nick and that be pulled along. Nick's been closed in massively from Volks. And then further back here we've got Mick and SPW here doing bits, and SPW comes to the racing line in his Haasmobile. Through he goes on the inside, and Mitzi Matt thought about trying to send it all the way around the long way into turn 1, but has to back out it for now. And SPW up to P11 in the Haas. And Mr. Race, it's the fastest lap of the race, and Rob Wills has got through on F. Lewis also. Volksbob getting through now in Nick. And the gaps are opening up a little bit. It's starting to really get stretched as the race. As Pedro now gets through and Ryan Sam, and he's up to P7. He's driving a good recovery race here as Pedro. He's up 7 positions. And F. Lewis now trying to come back at Rob Wills here. Will he make the move down into turn 2? Rob Wills just positioning the car nicely in the middle of the road. Pardon me. Rob Wills now putting the weave on, trying to break that toe of F. Lewis. And we're going to see Nick. I think Nick will wait behind actually for the next lap. He's going to try and get that done in DRS. So while we see F. Lewis come through and Rob Wills now into turn 1, will this battle continue? And he is all push on the energy. You'll see Rob Wills derating here, so F. Lewis is going to come for the move, I think, and not quite this time, so he sits behind Rob Wills for another lap, playing the long game as Ethan and trying to get himself involved in as little mess as possible. And now it's just the Nick and Volks battle, although F. Lewis coming back through on Rob. And F. Lewis sitting very, very nice on the energy, 70% still, so he has opportunities ahead if he can keep that energy saving up. 20 laps still to go, so lots and lots of time ahead. Scarman Adam doing better down towards turn 2. Adam's still ahead of Scarman though, of course. For now. F. Lewis looking much closer to Rob Wills this time around, so I think this could be the move for Ethan. He gets on the energy even before that DRS line. We see the gap starting to close, and here comes the big gain now as he tucks up into that pocket, and now down the inside he goes. He's going to try and make this one work. He does leave space for Rob, and Rob's going to leave space in the exit as well, and it's good racing there between the two, and Rob Wills defends that one off for now, and Nico Rosberg now coming to get himself more involved as well. He's up 12 positions, up inside the top 6, but F. Lewis trying to go back on Rob Wills, some more side by side into turn 2, but Rob Wills again being very respectful and leaving space, but F. Lewis cannot get the job done this time around. Good, very, very good racing there between the boys. Well, if Lewis go in an unorthodox seat, it's a tough one because he maybe doesn't want to give Rob the DRS down the main straight. He's probably trying to break that before so he can guarantee the gap. But look at Nico Rosberg, he's all over the back at F. Lewis. Oh, and he stuck a nose in too late there. And he's went round. That was a daily and a dollar shot there, I think, to try and make that move stick. And that is an unfortunate one there for Nico Rosberg. But somehow he's got that car turned round and got himself straight back on it. I don't know how on earth he's managed that. Oh, careful on the curbs there, Nico. You settle yourself back down. You were driving well, you got the pace, you can come back. So Ranger now being overtaken by Matty. Matty on a bit of a push in the Ferrari. Ranger staying right in that DRS range and being able to hold on to a bit of energy for good measure. Bear with me 1 second, chat. I need myself the restroom. As Ranger now has got back ahead of Matty while I was away there. And what's happening further back here? Volks Bob lost a couple of positions. Has he had a bit of a moment there at the second chicane? I think he has. So the gaps are now all fully open. We've got Chubby Slug and Jay. Chubby Slug going to come for a move here up to a scary chicane. Yes, he is. The Aston Martin man. Jay will concede that one for now and tuck in behind. Of course, he'll know he gets the DRS now. Down the main straight, and look at Rob Wills. Has he took his pit stop? Yes, he has. There's Rob Wills on a 2-stop here. Some tactics in play, guys, not wanting to go through into that last corner. They want that DRS, and Rob Wills knows a thing or two about tactics, and here we go. Rob Wills will come in the run. He'll get the better run there on the DRS, and they'll go 3 wide. Rob Wills through ENTXJ through Chubby Slug. We'll need to accept that they're going through, but is it going to be more between Jay and Rob? Not this time around, as Jay snatches a little bit of a lock up there on the inside curb, but turn 1 tries to unsettle the car, but he keeps it in check with a little bit of opposite lock. And they continue on. Nick gaining on Ryan Sam here. This could be an overtake coming up for Nick, the new no-line man, the EVG boy. And he is going to go through, and I think this is probably, if Nick can keep this up, this will be one of his best finishing positionings today. And I think Nick's actually got a nice little setup for no-line, because he races the same 3 races every week. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So and you're starting to see here that it's helping him pick it up just a lot faster. as Ranger now into the pit. So they're off the soft compound tyre. It's going to be 15 laps for them on the mediums. Nice and easy as you like. Mikey 18.4 seconds ahead and absolutely chilling at the moment. Pedro now into P3. And there goes Jay on Chubby Slug. Their battle continues. Jay through with the DRS pass into turn 1. Nico Rosberg and Nick now about to do battle. Nico Rosberg, he was up there, then he had a moment and he was down there, and now he's back there. And through he will go up to a scary chicane, and Nick will want to use this Mercedes car to get him up the road a bit here, I think. Matty getting through an SPW. SPW still doing a stint and a half on these medium compound tyre in the Haas. The Haas is Ryan Sam. These boys are hanging on in these cars very, very well today. Pedro now really starting to gain an F loose here. Pedro's stint really starting to show its pace. I don't know what kind of setup he's got in the car here today, but he's closed that gap right up to F Lewis. He's trying to get involved here for these top positions in the race. Oh, and somebody's round. Nico Rosberg's out, and this could be a safety car. Safety car, and it's out. Safety car is out. Oh my god, and the soft tyres will go to the end of the race. The soft tyres will go to the end. Oh, drama, drama, drama. This came at the perfect time. All those guys on the softs, it's such a bad time to get a safety car. Nico Rosberg's lost the car at the second Lesmo, and through the guys go. And it's pit stops for all. Matty going to continue on, but I think he's going to do well to keep some of these fresh soft compounds behind him. So I think everybody's took their pit stop. Grabbed a little drink very quickly. Mikey P1, Matty P2, F Lewis P3, Pedro P4, Nick P5, Ryan Sam P6, Ranger P7, SPW P8, Mick P9, Rage P10, Rob Bills 11, Volks 12, ENTXJ P13, Chubby Slug P14, Dixie P15, Skarner P16 and Mitzi Matt P17 for the restart. So, safety car will probably do one more lap here. I think it's still no sweat for Mikey, especially the fact he's got a medium tyre stuck between them, but even still I think the pace of the car, F. Lewis is a quick little lad, but the Mercedes is a fast car. So, I think that's where the struggle will come in for F. Lewis. It's just the sheer pace of the Mercedes. But I definitely think he can take it to Matty. If he can finish P2, he gets a good gain in ENTXG. He's not quite getting points back in Mikey, but he's getting points to keep himself in the fight and not fall off. But I expect Jay to fight through this race as well. And of course, it matters nothing, because where they finish this week, it's all changed next week. Mikey needs to go through the pain of the Haas next Thursday evening, so these guys straight away have the opportunity to capitalise on their points. Mikey's just ended up a bit lucky that his bad race came the week before a sprint. But it is only an extra 8 points in offer on the sprint race, so. So 1 second shot. Oh my god, Jay. I've been speaking all this time. Oh no. I don't even know. God's sake! All that action, all that flabbergast. Oh, I'm sorry, chat. Krista the boo boo. So back to green flag racing. And, like I've been saying for a little while, Nick, in one of his best finishing positions thus far, with no line. Ranger's going to stay behind for now, he nearly runs in the brakes there. Nick, of course, still settling down. Through no assist, his Chippy Slug makes a big move there on Ryan Salmon. Look at ENTXG now getting involved. He gets through and Ryan also up to P10 in his Alfa Romeo. And started to make some comeback gains near the end of the race. It wouldn't be the ENTXJ way if it wasn't this way, so normal service for Jay. And Mitzi Matt going to give Nick some DRS as a helping hand here. Yes, he is. So Mitzi Matt the back marker helping out Nick just a little bit. And oh my god, how many laps was I muted for there? Bloody hell, man. And now Chippy Slug goes through on SPW. SPW still on P9. As Matterman picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings and really compromises his exit at Scary Chicane. So SPW will be able to maintain a good close distance, get a good exit off Parabolic, and he could come back through here. As Pedro gets back through in F. Lewis. Down into turn 1 they go, get a yellow flag in sector 3, is there something happened there? Oh, Mick's had a moment out of the last corner there. And further up we've got J and SPW going battle here. SPW is going to try and get the move done, but J with a better exit there off of turn 2. Look at SPW, he's going to try and come back here. J will hold that left hand line, SPW will tuck to the inside, and here they go side by side, the Haas and the Alfa Romeo man. Oh, but look at SPW goes for the dummy switch and he goes back down the inside. There's a bit of contact. Oh, and I think SPW was trying something adventurous there. I'd love to see that one from a closer angle. But I don't think J could have done much differently, but now Ranger is through on Nick, but Nick, oh, he seems not to have DRS. Oh, and what's going on there? And now Mr. Rage is coming to get involved. What's happened there? And now Nick and Rage side by side. Rage has to get out of there at Scary Chicane. And oh wow, like all hell of a close there between the boys. And look at Rob. Ryan Sam a compromised exit off for Scary Chicane, and Rob Wills fires through. Now where are the battles? Ah, the muted mic. Mr. Rage and Nick going side by side. Into turn 1, Nick got his teammate right in front of him, so they need to be careful there, but still able to fend Rage off for this lap. Guys, we got a yellow flag, sector 1, who's that? Oh, Dixie, what's he done? He said a moment, turn 1, coming out the pits. Mitzi no longer in the race. And Pedro now broke that DRS from F. Lewis. We've got down to a couple of laps to go. Pedro looking very good for the podium this evening, as is F. Lewis. So Nick and Ranger still going at it. 2 laps to go, still opportunity ahead. Nick maybe not looking to fight it too much because of course he knows that Ranger's got the penalty, so he will get that position. And I'm almost positive this will be Nick's career best no assist finish. P4, and I think he'll walk away very happy today as Pedro really starts to stretch his legs now. 2.4 seconds ahead of F. Lewis. Looked very comfortable in the end in the sprint, made some good gains, and I think in terms of the feature race would probably be my driver of the day today. But Ranger still trying to defend for Nick, and here he comes. He's going to choose to not even use any energy at the moment. He'll have the race in line for into turn 1. Ranger's going to try and keep his nose there. The Alpine boys will go side by side, and out the first corner they go, and Rage now trying to get involved as well. So Rage and Ranger are now side by side as they come through turn 3, and Rage will try and go round the outside. Is there a bit of contact there? I'm not quite sure what happened as we came round the kink. But Rage is going to hold it on that inside line into turn 2, and that's not the best camera angle there to watch that, and they're still side by side through that second chicane. Good racing there, and Matty comes to get involved as well. We'll go on board with Matty as he tries to go round the long way and Ranger into the first Lesmo. He's not going to be able to, well, you could get the move done there, but I would be very, very impressed if you make it stick. And now they all go charging down towards the Scary. Nick now the lead car in this battle for P4. Of course, all 4 drivers behind got some penalties. Ranger is looking to get the penalties away though, and there is a chance that it could be the case, so that is one to watch. And Dixie and Mick doing some racing further back here for the last spots on the grid. Dixie just taking a bit too much curb there. And Mr. Rage was looking at Nick, but he's not going to be able to this time around. So last lap of the race, Mikey comes into that second chicane for the last time. He's been faultless on the back-to-back tonight. Comfortably in control. Of course the Mercedes power always helps. He will extend his championship lead, but there is still another sprint format to go. And of course, still 5 or 6 races left in the season, so it is not over. And of course Mikey will need to take the Haas next time around, so as long as his opposing teammates better him, they can close the distance and gap. But Mikey, he heads up the back straight for the last time. Into Parabolica he goes. He's took the opportunity to extend that Champions League and grasped Championship lead and grasped it with both hands, and he will win the double in Italy. But Pedro from P14 in the grid will come home to finish in a stellar P2. He's recovered very, very well from the sprint format. F. Lewis will get P3 and keep his championship hopes alive. It's a career's best for Nick on no assist. Mr. Rage P5, Matty P6, Chubby Slugholm in P7, Ranger in P8, ENTXJ will get up to P8 in the end. Rob Wells P9, Ryan Sam P10, Ranger down to P11, but of course he's got some penalties to call. Volkswagen in P12, SPW 13, Skarma 14, Mick will be P15, and Dixie P16. And we will watch these two do battle up the last straight, because this is the only battle left on track. No yeeting into Parabolica, please. And Mick will better Adam to bring home P15, and it's 16th for Dixie with a wibble wobble between the two and somebody in the wall there on the left hand side. So, what a race. I will wait till we get the results up. As Jensen always shouts at me if we don't. Driver of the day from the game, of course, Pedro. With that 12 position gains, I think P14 to P2 in the feature races are very thoroughly deserved. He gets it from me too. and we will wait to. I can show Jensen the finishing grid on the screen, and then I will get the guys in for a chat. So Mikey wins in Italy. He does the double on the sprint and feature race. Pedro P2, F Lewis 3, Nick in P4, Rage P5, Matty P6, Chubby Slog 7, Ian TXJ 8, Rob Wills P9, Ryan Sam 10, Ranger 11, Volks P12, SPW 13, Skarma 14, Mick P15 and Dixie P16, and we lost Mitsima, Nico, Danny and Clarky. Of course, every day ahead of Matty will gain, behind Matty will gain 1 position because Matty's a reserve, and every day behind Rob will gain 2 positions because they have both Rob and Matty ahead of them. So Chubby Slug and ENTXJ will be P6 and 7, and then we'll have Ryan Sam in P8, Ranger 9, Volks 10, SPW 11th, Skarma 12th, Mick 13th, and Dixie P14 would be the finishing order. Let's get the guys in for a little chat. Did I think I'd be speaking to Pedro after this race? Oh hell no. Let's see if we can get them in now. So we have to get F. Lewis and Mr. Mikey and Mr. Pedro. Nick, driver of the day, has voted from by the party chat. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, Nick. Although Mike Hall was a bit different, so I'm sorry, but he did deserve that. So we'll just start with yourself, Mikey, since you've joined us first. A very good day in the office, of course. You walked in to Monza with a monumental advantage in terms of car performance, and it was just about really capitalising where it mattered today. A bit extra points to bring home, knowing that you were going to get hit hard walking into next week. So damage done. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like it was maybe just a battle of, what would we say, focus for yourself, just keeping yourself in the mind frame, because Italy, of course, can bite you very quickly, just with the nature of the track. You're one slight steering movement too much away from being in the wall and your race over. So so I guess it was just keep the head down, get the points needed, and know that next week there'll probably points gained back on you, but that's just the nature of the beast. Oh, so your championship rivals have a bit of gaining. Oh, so you really needed this today then. This really, really mattered. Oh. Yeah. So very good job, Mikey. You extend the championship lead, so done everything you had to do. Of course, walking into what will be your week's break. That's exactly what you needed, so good stuff, mate. Mr. Pedro.
How's it going, mate?
I did not think I was. I don't mean this in an insulting way. I do not mean this at all. But I did not foresee you driving to P2 in the end. Of course, the safety car came out at a wonderful time, but you drove yourself into that position to get the safety car advantage. That was as good as you could do today, bar Mikey being in that car, and you think you were only 6 seconds behind in the end.
I think I would have been a lot further up. It was I get disconnected at the start of the first session, so I didn't get a setup for my first race. Oh. And I didn't have that big advantage going down the straights with my car, so.
Which was very obvious once you seen you starting to overtake cars. There was a point you overtook somebody down the main straight, and you did genuinely thought you had DRS open, but you didn't.
Yeah, it was the best car you could have in that track anyway.
Yes, the McLaren straight line speed.
Yeah.
So a very good day for yourself, Pedro, and I think in terms of championship, you could catapult yourself right up to the top 6 with a result like that today.
I think I missed the last few races, so It's not bad to come back and get a good result there.
And of course, driver of the day from the game, and you also got it pre-called for me as well. I think you done the best drive by far.
And fastest lap.
Oh, and you took the fastest lap, so
aye.
points are plenty, sir.
I'll take it all.
So very good job, Pedro. You drove very well today and got everything you deserved for your performance.
Cheers, mate.
No worries. F. Lewis?
Yeah.
You showed today that you are not finished with this championship just yet.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. P3, and of course, I don't know if you heard just before or just as you were coming in the party, Mikey is not here next week, so more advantages ahead.
Yeah. I think
P3 best you were going to get, do you feel? Pedro kind of came from nowhere with the pace in the car. I think P2 was looking good at one point, but then once Pedro was in that position and got the free stop in the safety car, it was kind of hurtful, if you will. But still P3.
Yeah. I felt I could have had Pedro, but I think he's just faster car, and I think he's faster here than me. I'm struggling with the car like hell. The tires.
It was in the back straight. You just my cars just get the big advantage in there. I didn't even have to use DRS or nothing to keep up with your car.
And I couldn't. I was basically playing through the corners and just.
I waited.
My car through the
I waited 3 laps for the end. I saved up the ERS, and then when that eventually got back in the lead, I just burnt it all just to get break the DRS.
he was worried.
You were just about to get my DRS, and my engineer said the car ahead is a second fast, and I was like, I bloody know it. I'm flying past. I couldn't do it. I think the McLaren's got the same engine, just much superior in the corners, just now you can do, but my plan was for this race, I knew when I was starting P2, me and Rage devised an excellent plan. Send it on Mikey. Didn't work. Didn't work one bit, but I don't think the mediums were warmed up enough for the start. I think it was a bit obvious considering I just dropped.
Yeah.
And Ranger got everything on us off the start. Like, I was at the 150 metre board, and I think Mikey was already at halfway through the corner, but yeah. I don't think there's anything more I could have done, but I'm happy considering the results, and just me and Jay will have to work together to get something next week and not let Mikey get away with this one just yet.
That's what we like to hear, and you were involved in some good wheel-to-wheel today as well, F. Lewis. You had some really good battles throughout both your sprint and your feature race. So
yeah.
Not the easiest race, you know, it's not like you just drove to P3, you were definitely in the fight, so I think it was a very thoroughly deserved one.
And not the usual, I wasn't in a barrier. That was good. And I'm not getting slagged off by all of you. And stewards and stuff.
That'll still come.
Adding the penalties up. And getting hit by Stephen and stuff. Screw you, Stephen.
But anyway, P3, F. Lewis, very, very good job. You drove very well today, and as we said, the championship is still very much on, with Mikey missing out next week. So, on that note, well done to Mikey, to Pedro, and to F. Lewis. Pedro got my driver of the day for Mr. Jensen when he watches back, just so he knows. And on that note, no more racing for this week because it's the Miami Grand Prix on Sunday evening. So no P0, so we will see you again on Monday for China. We'll see you then.